that for him to go back with the chairman of the cabinet, it's already become a challenge. So out of 7, 6 had to go back on pleadings by Chief Awolowo. And then the issue was probed and established. Just bare rumor, people resigned their cabinet.
So how?
But in these days,
gritty.
In these days,
even with indictments,
with documents flying, they will not back the office.
You're
okay.
still there.
Okay, Dr. Nweze, let's look at this, the Center for Values in Leadership. Tell us about it. Is that supposed to help? He began from the family and the institutions and all that, but there's a Center for Values in Leadership. What's it about?
Well, it's when Professor Patotomi had this burden in his heart that something had to be done to save the nation, and it was identified that leadership is at the heart of it. Not just that, but there's a crisis in the value system. And when an American economist, Jeffrey Sachs, wrote a book, End of Poverty, and he mentioned that Africa is poor because of weather, because of culture, because of so many things. And Patotomi wrote a reply to his own book by writing a book, Why Nations Are Poor. And he had this, this thing about the growth drivers, what drives growth in any nation. And one of the elements out of 6 elements was leadership, And he began to think, he's a very restless person. He will tell you that he's not rich today because he's carrying a heavy burden. He wants the society to be better. And that was what informed the establishment, Say, okay, like, was it Wole Soyinka would say that his generation is a hopeless generation and all that. But he said that, okay, forget about his own generation, talking about Professor Patotomi, let us look at the younger generation so that they don't make mistakes his own generation made. So he began to handhold. He would tell you that, look, he has provided his shoulder for younger people to stand on so they can move forward. So CV, Center for Values in Leadership, is like a shoulder he has provided for people to stand on. And they have programs that are centered on this. And the annual conference, which comes up on the 6th of February, which happens also to be his birthday, has been an annual event. And this year, 2018, we're looking at Africa as a whole. Because Nigeria is a macrocosm of Africa. And Nigeria holds the key. Africa is having a challenge because Nigeria has refused to stand up and lead Africa.
We say that on this program all the time. So, rise up, Nigeria, and take your place.
Yes, because there is no way, don't let anybody fool you, that Africa will ever rise beyond what Nigeria is. Nigeria holds the key. Black race, as a whole, cannot do anything. The black race is being treated anyhow because Nigeria has refused to be a man, to rise up to the responsibility of, that God has bestowed on her. So that is a challenge. And that is what the burden that Professor Patotomi has been holding. And we are looking at, some heads of African presidents and former presidents are also, confirmed, some of them have confirmed they're coming to be able to look at Africa as a whole, to know what leadership, what is going on in South Sudan, in Rwanda. How was Paul Kagame able to get it right, and how can other African countries get it right?
Who
Zero
are those?
tolerance for corruption.
Yeah.
Who are those you're expecting at this conference, and where is it happening?
The event is taking place on February 6th, which is next month, and it's at the Museum Center, Onekon, Lagos. It's the 5th edition of the 15th edition of the series. We invited some African head of states that have served and some that are still
past
serving.
and present.
The team will be led by Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, was Nigeria's former president. We'll also be talking about leadership and performance in Africa, the challenge of the continent's economic competitiveness. We expect the keynote address will come from Dr. Kande Yunkela, the first African or black man to ever head UNIDO, that United Nations Industrial Development Organization, is delivering the keynote address that will set the tone for discussion by other guest speakers. There will be a session to look at the Nigerian environment. So within the Nigerian context, some politicians, and some intellectuals.
Is it open to everybody?
It's open to the public, but we advise pre-registration. We've opened our portal the last couple of weeks.
Where do they go to register?
www.cvl.com.ng. I repeat, www.cvl.com.ng. That's the portal that is open for registration. We are doing pre-registration this time around because of the experience we had for the 14th edition last year.
All right.
We were
overwhelmed.
Yes, we oversubscribed.
Okay.
We want to avoid that this year so that we know when to draw the curtain.
Okay, we'll continue after this.
Pre-registration is going on at www.cvl.com.ng. If you do not pre-register, you cannot be a part of the conference because it's open to all, and it's happening on the 6th of February at the Muson Center. Thank you so much. Dr. Austin Weze, faculty member, Center for Value in Leadership, and Mr. Rashid Adegbenro, director, Center for Value in Leadership.
Director, Senior Vice President.
Senior Vice President of Center for Values in Leadership. Thank you both for sharing your thoughts. We wish you well at the conference, and we hope to be part of it as well. Now, Sunrise will be back in a moment. Please don't go away.